How's it going, everybody? I'm meteorologist Joey Cragness back with your daily forecast. We have another risk for the central and southern plains. For today, all hazards going to be possible with the severe storms that pop up for parts of western Oklahoma, central Texas, maybe into Kansas as well this afternoon and evening. And then tomorrow, looking at a fairly large risk area that stretches all the way from portions of Wisconsin all the way down to the Texas-Mexico border. It's going to be a lower end risk, but that risk area is fairly large with several large populations area in the middle of that marginal risk that is out for tomorrow. And then still looking at that system that we're tracking for the beginning and middle of next week that could bring us our next outbreak for severe weather. Keeping an eye on that, not getting our hopes up too much with the severe weather potential on that just quite yet, but that potential is there. So we'll talk about that in a little bit here. But right now across the country, we have the stationary front kind of setting up right around the Kansas-Oklahoma border, this nice outflow boundary from the storms in central Oklahoma this morning. Things beginning to clear out in central Oklahoma right now. So we have an increase of surface moisture from those storms this morning, as well as perfectly clear skies right now. So that's doing some good stuff for that daytime heating as we get into this afternoon. That's going to provide plenty of fuel and energy for these storms that are going to pop up if they do manage to get into those areas. Around the rest of the country, though, we're looking at this little short wave that's going to provide that lift for those storms this afternoon. Temperatures right now in the mid 70s, a few areas in the 80s. Fairly cold temperatures behind this trough up in the northwestern U.S. there. Got 35 degrees in Billings, so a fairly strong temperature gradient. Expecting a cold front to kind of come through after that dry line fires off those storms. So that'll probably kill off the storm potential as we go into late this evening as that cold front overruns those storms that initially formed. So here we have our significant hail model showing a good plume of those favorable hail conditions all the way up into north central Kansas. Those favorable conditions moving even farther north as we head into later on this evening. So we have decent instability, good wind shear, fairly cold temperatures aloft. So all favorable for some fairly large hail as we go into the storm potential this afternoon and evening. And then for Thursday, seeing mainly in Texas and Oklahoma for tomorrow evening for that hail potential, but it does still stretch all the way up into the Davenport, Iowa area that could see some larger hail for tomorrow. So looking at our high resolution model here for this afternoon, see some small little clouds start to build up around 2 p.m. And then storms start to fire around the 3 to 4 p.m. mark, starting in Texas. That'll continue to grow off to the northeast as we head into the evening hours. So if you're commuting in and around these areas for this evening, you're going to want to make sure you're on the lookout for some severe storms, possibly on your commute going home this afternoon and evening. And then those storms will continue to build along the Red River into tonight, ending up with a pretty linear system. We could have a decent Boeing segment just to the northeast of San Angelo that could push into Dallas. It'll probably weaken by the time it gets to Dallas, so not expecting too large of a severe potential, but we could see some gusty winds, especially in the DFW area, possibly Houston, maybe down in Corpus Christi. They could see some severe gusts as well. And then up in Oklahoma and Kansas, we got the model really likes to fire off this supercell just to the northeast of Dodge City. It's been showing that for the last couple of runs, so it likes something out there for just one isolated discrete supercell that then grows into this big linear mess, kind of similar to the mess that we had going on near Wichita yesterday. Had some hail move through that area, but then looking at the overnight hours, this system is going to continue to push off in near Kansas City. So looking at closer to St. Joseph up there, they could maybe see some strong wind gusts going into tomorrow morning. But that's what we got for the radar. And now looking at our hail potential here, the largest hail looks like it's going to be located right in western Oklahoma, south central Kansas, so Wichita kind of close to that risk area, Abilene kind of in that risk as well, expecting golf ball, maybe 2 to 2¼ inch hail for the maximum size today. We could see some larger hail. I did underestimate the hail size that we were expecting from yesterday. It was looking good for a little while, expecting that 2½ inch hail, maybe an isolated 3-inch stone. But the Oklahoma storms yesterday proved us wrong. We got a 4½ inch report out of one of the storms in west central Oklahoma. So was a little bit off on that. But looking at our wind forecast here, we got Oklahoma City, DFW, Abilene, all at the highest risk levels. Kansas City right on the edge there. Same with Houston and Corpus Christi. They could all see a damaging wind gust or two out of some of the storms that developed this afternoon and evening. But that's what we got for that. Tornado potential is this going to be this narrow corridor from central Kansas to western Texas. Fairly isolated tornado conditions with how quick the convection is expected to blow up. So those isolated storms at the initial start of those storms is going to be the highest potential for tornadoes that we see. And then after those storms grow into that line, that tornado potential is going to diminish a little bit. It's not going to completely disappear. We could see a few brief spin-ups along that line, but it is going to diminish quite a bit as those storms grow into the line. And then for tomorrow, down along the Gulf Coast, we see a mess of storms in the afternoon. Houston maybe getting some windy conditions, same with New Orleans out there. And then out in Oklahoma City and the central Oklahoma, we could see some storms fire up late in the evening. So another overnight severe risk for Oklahoma City and the surrounding areas. And then up north in the Midwest region, seeing some storms firing off in the afternoon. And like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a lower end severe day, but it is going to have a very wide coverage. So we could see many areas get hit with some lower end severe weather. It's not going to be a super high end day, but that risk is still there. So we'll see these storms blow up in Missouri and Iowa, moving into Wisconsin and Illinois later on into the overnight hours, just because there isn't a ton of moisture up there to work with. Those storms aren't going to be on the higher end of the severe scale. So this is what we got for our upper air map today. We have this little trough building up in Nebraska and in the Dakotas area. Not a whole lot of upper level support notice for the southern plains for today. That's what's going to kind of mess up these storms, the storm potential for today. We do have a tiny little short wave, a little bit of a cold front extending to the south, but not as much upper level support as we would like to see for one of the larger outbreak days. And then going into tomorrow, see this nice little jet streak we have right over the Sioux Falls area. We'll have a low pressure system centered kind of in northern Minnesota, a long cold front extending to the south. That's what's going to fire off the storms for tomorrow. And with these cold front driven systems, they aren't super high end days, especially when we've had a lot of storms eating up the moisture from previous events. But that potential for the large risk area to see severe weather is still there for tomorrow. And then that system track off northeast into Canada. And this is what we're watching for our beginning of next week, severe risk. We have this nice trough digging into the south central U.S., jet streak centered right over the Denver, Colorado area, Albuquerque, New Mexico, that kind of area. We should see this nice little system pop up out of that, kick up some severe weather likely for the Central Plains. Probably see severe weather all the way up into North Dakota for Monday, at least with how this is looking right now. It could change quite a bit. It's already changed quite a bit from yesterday. This trough was a lot weaker and shifted a little bit farther south yesterday than it is on this run right now. But that'll continue to track off to the northeast, bringing severe weather likely to the Great Plains as we head into Wednesday morning. Northeast could see some severe weather later on in the week. The East Coast, same with that. So large potential for severe weather as we head into next week, pretty much the entire week. Looking at what we have for dew points this afternoon, you can see this nice little dry line starting out in Kansas, the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma. That's going to kind of push in just a little bit. Notice how quick diffuses and mixes out in that area. So it's not going to be a super sharp dry line to kick off those storms and keep them organized, but it'll be just enough to fire off some storms and possibly get some severe weather later on this evening. And then going into Saturday, that those dew points aren't looking as favorable. So this weekend is looking a little calmer than it has been in the past. So if you're looking to get outside and enjoy your weekend, this weekend might not be a bad one to do so. But that's what we got for that. And then looking at our instability, this is what we have for that. We have our highest instability located right between Texas and Oklahoma along the panhandle there. So that's where we're expecting the largest potential for large hail. That'll diminish pretty quickly going into the overnight hours, and then we get this little bubble again on Thursday evening. So this is where the highest potential for severe weather is for tomorrow, but the risk does extend all the way up into southern Wisconsin for tomorrow, and then we could see some more severe weather on Friday. Just looking at a source of lift for the Friday storms possibly, but that instability and those conditions are there. We just need a source of lift to kick off those storms. On Friday, this is what we have for our risk area though for Thursday. Again, I forget to change that date. I keep doing that. But we got a decent sized risk area for Thursday, extending all the way pretty close to the Texas-Mexico border, all the way up into the La Crosse, Wisconsin area, Rochester, Minnesota. That kind of area looking like they could see some severe weather potentially for Thursday. What we have for our rain potential here for May 6th through May 10th, expecting things to dry out just a little bit for the southern U.S., and then rain expected to pick up for the northern half of the U.S. So we're getting things kind of split in half right now, where the northern U.S. is expecting to see above average precipitation, below average for the southern U.S., but above average temperatures for pretty much the eastern 2/3 of the country, expecting a ridge to set up over the eastern half of the country. Right now on the extended models bring those warmer temperatures. Right now it's indicating that we have kind of a trough setting up over the eastern U.S., ridge, like I said, over the, or trough over the western, ridge over the eastern, with that trough kind of lining up right where that gray area is. So we could see that trigger off some severe weather going into the central and northern plains for next week. So that's what we got for that, and that's about it for today. If you're interested in learning more about us, go ahead and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Or if you're interested in purchasing a plan, go ahead and scan that QR code up above me, or give us a call at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com, or check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Joey Cragness. Thanks for watching.